From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the News Blast for this hour. LGBTQ Nation is reporting that the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in favor of a federal law that requires health insurers to provide coverage for preventative treatments recommended by a federal task force in Kennedy v. Braidwood. These treatments include PrEP, which a Christian company in Texas sued over, claiming that covering PrEP violates their freedom of religion because it encourages and facilitates homosexual behavior. The majority was ideologically diverse, with the Democratic appointees, Justices Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, and Elena Kagan, joining with three of the Republican appointees, Justices Brett Kavanaugh, John Roberts, and Amy Coney Barrett, to protect the provision in the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act requires insurers to cover preventive care recommended by the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, which since 2019 includes PrEP, the medication regimen that can prevent the transmission of HIV. Braidwood management sued over this recommendation, saying that they had a constitutional right not to provide coverage for PrEP because the business owner's religion opposes homosexuality. Their argument, though, was that the task force itself wasn't legitimate and violated the Constitution's appointments clause. A lower court judge agreed, and an appeals court partly upheld his ruling, putting all of the task force's recommendations in jeopardy, which included prenatal nutritional supplements, physical therapy for older Americans to prevent falls, lung cancer screenings, and colorectal cancer screenings, preventative health care measures that save an estimated 10,000 to 20,000 lives each year. The rulings would have given the task force's authority to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Kennedy has a long history of making false claims about HIV and AIDS, including spreading doubt about HIV causing AIDS and suggesting that AIDS is caused by poppers and a gay lifestyle, not a virus. The Biden administration appealed the decision to the Supreme Court, and the current administration maintained the same position that the Biden administration had taken, showing a rare bipartisan agreement on the issue. Writing for the majority, Justice Brett Kavanaugh said that the task force members are not principal officers. Therefore, they don't have to be appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Instead, they're inferior officers who can be appointed and removed by the Health and Human Services Secretary. So, task force members are supervised and directed by the secretary, who in turn answers to the president, preserving the chain of command in Article 2, Kavanaugh wrote. LGBTQ plus advocates welcomed the ruling. This decision means millions of Americans, for now, can breathe easier, knowing that critical preventive care remains within reach, not a luxury reserved for the privileged few, said HRC President Kelly Robinson in a statement. The LGBTQ plus community has historically faced societal and economic barriers that have worsened health outcomes and widened gaps in healthcare inequality, barriers that have only grown worse as anti-equality lawmakers continue attack on our healthcare. While we're pleased that the Supreme Court has blocked this attempt to create even more burdens on people seeking life-saving care, we must remain vigilant. The Health and Human Services Secretary, under Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has exhibited an open hostility toward the health needs of LGBTQ plus people and has already undermined critical protections against HIV. We must continue to work to ensure everyone, no matter your sexual orientation, gender identity, race, income, or location, can access the care they need to thrive. The ruling comes the same day as the Supreme Court's ruling in Mahmoud v. Taylor, where the court ruled that parents have a constitutional right to opt their kids out of discussions of LGBTQ plus people in schools. That's the News Blast for this hour. If you are watching our videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.